Hello, it's April from April's Home, and today I thought I would share a fun and easy dessert recipe with you. I thought that I would make some delicious oatmeal blackberry squares. Now this is a very similar recipe to a raspberry bar. The only difference is instead of raspberries, I thought I would use blackberry jam. It seemed like the perfect flavor for fall time. I love blackberry flavor and blackberry jam, so I thought that we would go ahead and make blackberry oatmeal squares today. So this is, again, a very simple and easy recipe. You'll need 2 sticks of butter. You'll need flour and old-fashioned oats. You'll need a little bit of salt, cinnamon, and vanilla. Of course, you'll need some blackberry jam. This one is Smucker's, and it is a seedless variety. I love seedless jam. Makes it a little nicer to eat. You can, of course, use whatever blackberry jam you have on hand, including your own homemade jam if you have that. And also, if you'd like to try a different flavor, you can use raspberry jam in this recipe or any other flavor of jam, blueberry or cherry or whatever you like. But today, again, we'll be making blackberry oatmeal squares because I think that blackberry and cinnamon and oats sound like a really nice fall flavor. You will also need some brown sugar as well as pan spray. You'll need a mixing bowl here along with an electric mixer and a 9x13 baking dish. Okay, so to your mixing bowl, you will add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. There's 1 cup and 2 cups. And I also forgot to mention you will want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And next we'll add 1.5 cups of old-fashioned oats. Old-fashioned oats are best in this recipe. They just hold up really nicely, and the nice pieces of oats in the recipe are really delicious. So here's the other 1/2 cup, so 1.5 cup total of rolled oats. You will need 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. So here is a 1/4 cup, and then another 1/4 cup here. So 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. And then we'll need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And we'll need 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon. So here's our 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon. So those are our dry ingredients, and I'm just going to kind of break them up right now with a spoon here. Just kind of toss them around. We'll of course be blending this with our butter and vanilla in just a minute with our electric mixer, but I like to give it a good stir first. Okay, there you go. And now I'm going to go ahead and melt my 2 sticks of butter in the microwave. Okay, so here I have my 2 sticks of butter almost completely melted. I put them in the microwave for about a minute. Everyone's microwave is different. Yours might go a lot quicker than mine, but you want to melt them pretty much almost all the way. And then add them to your mixture here. And at this time we'll also add about a teaspoon of vanilla. Maybe a little splash more. And then you'll take your electric mixer here and blend it until it's completely combined. Probably best to do it on a little bit lower speed so it doesn't spread flour everywhere. You're just looking for it to be thoroughly combined in a nice crumbly mixture. Partway through mixing, go ahead and take your spoon that you used earlier. Just kind of make sure that the bottom is getting mixed in as well. You'll see that you'll turn up sometimes a little bit of flour that was on the bottom that needs to be incorporated. So after I give this stir, I give it another little blend until I'm sure that it's thoroughly combined. Okay, and that looks like it is all combined to me. And I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. And I have here my 9x13 baking pan, which I'll go ahead and spray with pan spray, especially along the edges, because the jam will tend to stick to the side as it cooks. So you'll want to make sure to spray that well. Then we want to spread roughly 2/3 of this mixture into the bottom of the pan, and then we're going to press it down. We'll make sure to reserve the other 1/3 for the top, maybe slightly more than 1/3 for the top. I do love to have some crumble topping for the top of these bars. So we'll go ahead and see what this looks like spread out, and maybe a little bit more. There we go. We're just going to kind of spread this out through the pan. Maybe grab a little bit more there. And then using the back of your hand like this, just press it down. Of course, before I cook, I always clean my hands thoroughly, so this is fine to do. If you're uncomfortable getting your hands a bit greasy, you can use the back of a wooden spoon as well, just like so. So I'm going to get that all the way pressed in till it's a nice firm layer. You also want to be sure that it's pretty even, so it bakes evenly and so that the bars are even, that they have an even layer on the bottom. And that it's pressed together really nicely so that it won't fall apart when it's done baking and you go to serve one. So you really want this to be kind of compacted pretty well in there. And now it's time to add our layer of jam. Now this is an 18-ounce jar of jam. I don't know that I'll use the whole thing. Let's just see how much we can use of this. I do like a nice layer in there, but you don't want so much that it's overly sweet. So we'll just start by putting some scoops of jam throughout the oatmeal layer here. Kind of start pressing it in there a bit, spreading it around. So far I've used about, probably 3/4 of this jar. Let's see how this does. It's been a while since I've made this and I don't remember if I've used the whole jar in the past or almost a whole jar. But we will see. Again, you want to make sure that it is spread evenly so that no spot has too much or too little jam. I'll add a little bit more here. There are a few spots that look pretty sparse. And I think since I have just a little bit left in the jar here, I'm going to go ahead and just use the whole jar. There we go. And if you would like to use a little bit less jam, that's completely fine as well. So once you have your jam spread out evenly, we're going to go ahead and top it with the rest of the crumble mixture here. Just like so. I'm going to use my hand to distribute this so it goes in a nice thin layer over the top. You can also kind of clump it up into pieces, larger little chunks if you'd like that. Again, we'll just make sure to spread this evenly over the top. Make sure to get it on the edges. And again, make sure to spread that out evenly. Maybe give it a little pat. Just kind of incorporate it down with the jam. So now we are ready to put this in the oven, our 350-degree preheated oven, for about 25 minutes or so until the top is a golden brown and the jam will be bubbly. I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like and tell you how long it took in my oven. Of course, every oven is different, so you might want to take a peek at it around the 20-minute mark or even a little bit sooner if you feel like your oven runs hot, because jam will burn quickly if it gets overcooked. So we'll go ahead and check this in 20 minutes at 350 degrees, and we'll look for that to be bubbly and golden brown. I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's all done baking. And here it is out of the oven. You can see it's just lightly golden brown around the edges, a little bit light golden brown in the center. You can see that jam is bubbling away. I'm going to go ahead and let this cool way down before I cut it so that we don't burn ourselves on that really hot jam. So I'm just going to let this cool for a bit, and I'll come back to show you what this looks like when it's cooled and when I cut it up to serve in squares. My Blackberry Oatmeal Squares have cooled down a bit, and I have cut a square to try. They smell absolutely delicious. The whole house smells wonderful. Anytime you bake cinnamon and oatmeal in the oven, it just makes the whole house smell good, and these look delicious. And they turned out wonderful. They tasted just how I thought they would. The blackberry flavor of the jam is absolutely wonderful with the cinnamon and the oats, along with all that delicious butter and flour. This will definitely make a wonderful fall dessert. And like I said, you can switch this up with any flavor of jam that you'd like to. But this blackberry jam flavor is absolutely wonderful. So that is my recipe for Blackberry Oatmeal Squares. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this recipe, and I hope you give it a try as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.